to a person who's campaigning, never listen to them and ask yourself, how do I benefit if I choose to believe what they're saying? Don't ask yourself how you benefit. Ask yourself how the person speaking benefits. In this case, how do I benefit if you choose to believe what I'm telling you? Because if I'm campaigning in front of you, I want you to what? Vote for me. And I want you to give me money. All right? So there's a lot of people out there who will tell you whatever they think you want to hear. And then they'll go do whatever they want to do. Is that why we're here, or are we frustrated with that kind of person? All right. I've trained with Krista, we're about now 160 people, and I think we've had people come 2 or 3 times for this, so there's some real gluttons for punishment. There's a whole bunch of people from all over Colorado who know where I live who will come find me if I'm lucky enough to be elected and I go down there and I go listen to the people and I do what I want to do. So always ask yourself, how does the person speaking, how does the candidate, the politician benefit if I choose to believe what they're telling you? We're going to jump into the 2-year cycle. The 2-year cycle starts on the day after Election Day. Now, in real simple legalese, Election Day is the first Tuesday in November after the first Monday in November. Right? What this says is Election Day is held on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November. What that means is Election Day can't be November 1st. So Election Day is either the 2nd through the 8th. And the first day of the election cycle happens on the Wednesday morning after Election Day. So if you wanted to give me $400 tonight, you could do that, just as an example. And then you couldn't give me any more money until the Wednesday after Election Day in November, and then you could come give me $400 more. But the campaign finance laws all work on 2-year cycles. The House terms all happen on 2-year cycles. You'll see when we get to party officers and district captains and precinct leaders, those are all 2-year terms. They happen at different times through this 2-year cycle, but they're all 2-year terms. Talk real quickly about term limits. In the State House, you can serve 4 terms of 2 years for a total of 8 years. In the State Senate, you can serve 2 terms of 4 years for a total of 8 years, or 4 cycles. Does that make sense? 4 cycles in the House, 2 cycles in the Senate. Our governor's terms, 2 terms of 4 years, 4 cycles. So, on Election Day, the people who were elected in an even year, this would be 2008 if we look backwards, or next November in 2010, the people who are elected are going to pretty much know that Wednesday morning whether they won or lost. If you're George Bush and Al Gore, not so much. If you're Bob O'Prey or Mike Feely, not so much. But generally, by that Wednesday morning, we know who won. They're going to spend the next weeks or months getting ready to be sworn in. Most of those people who are elected in an even year are sworn in January of the following year. This is called the odd year. And it's always the odd year. We go even year, odd year, even year, odd year. That's like math. So what we're doing now is we're going to look back to last January. In January, your county parties will come together. There's 64 counties all over Colorado. You come together as a county party, and the Democrats and the Republicans are going to do the same thing. They're going to come together and they're going to elect party officers for their county. They're also going to elect district captains. In Douglas County, we have 31 district captains. The district captains oversee precinct leaders. So this is just a leadership structure. If you're not at caucus, the prior caucus, you probably aren't in the room to stand for those elections. So there's the first reason why you want to go to caucus. And we'll define what that means in a little bit. We look back to last January. We elect county party officers. The precinct leaders are still there from their prior caucus meeting. They're elected for 2 years, but they're not re-elected at this point. The other thing that we do at this January meeting is we elect bonus members to higher assemblies. Krista and I are going to talk a lot about higher assemblies. Don't worry too much about what that means right now, but just understand that there's an opportunity to be elected into a position, a decision-making, authority level position And you don't really get to do that unless you go to caucus, which happens at a different time during the 2-year cycle. Now, the bonus members to higher assembly, Krista and I are both elected from Douglas County as bonus members to the State Central Committee. So a few weeks ago we went up to Keystone and we voted on delegate proportionment to the counties. That's based on how counties drove votes out for Sarah Palin and I can't remember the guy's name that was president. The presidential campaign or the election last year. Voter turnout for John McCain and Sarah Palin last November. So depending on how many votes your county got out, you'll get more or less of these delegates for the assemblies that we're here to prepare you to get elected to go to. The higher assemblies happen next spring. The Central Committee where we elect bonus members, I know this is confusing, but the bonus members are like a board of directors. And we make decisions. We make bylaw decisions all through the 2-year cycle. The assembly is where this is the golden stuff that you're going to be after and what we're going to teach you how to go after if you decide to. So we elect these bonus members to higher assemblies, and then we come out of there and we actually go to those higher assemblies. The higher assemblies could be for your congressional district. We live down in the 6th Congressional District where Mike Kaufman is our congressman. I'm told we're in the 2nd now, that's Jared Polis. The 7th is Ed Perlmutter. But each one of those congressional districts, for the Republicans and for the Democrats, they have a central committee with bonus members, and next spring they'll have an assembly where delegates will decide who the candidates are. And that happened, the central committee meetings happened last spring. So we're starting to catch up with where we are right now. If you go to page 2, odd year campaigns and elections. In an odd year election in Colorado, they're nonpartisan. Now what nonpartisan election means in Colorado is that when you get your ballot, there's no R's or D's or U's or G's or any other letters there. That's all it means. Krista's husband was just elected mayor of Castle Pines North. And there were people who were outraged that his signs had elephants on them. Because it's nonpartisan election. Anybody hear about a little thing, the school board elections down in Douglas County? Oh, yeah. You want to guess who the campaign manager was for those 4 people? The union went ballistic. The union went crazy. You know, there's accusations that county parties making this partisan, and there's nothing wrong with standing up and saying, this is what I am. You know, vote for me or don't vote for me. This is what I am. That's what Jeff did. And it was just great to see him win and our 4 conservative candidates for the school board. Nonpartisan election doesn't mean that you can't be partisan. All it means is the letter doesn't show up on the ballot. And for walking precincts and talking with voters, what's the one thing they want to know? What letter goes by these names? Yeah. Anybody want to guess who came up with the brilliant idea of nonpartisan elections? I think it was union-driven and primarily Democrats in the state legislature. But that's my opinion. I'm not here to be partisan. I'm sorry. Ballot initiatives can appear on the November ballot during an odd year. Anybody remember this little thing called C&D, the tax increase that wasn't a tax increase? It was a tax increase? Yeah. Yep. That happened in an odd year. Give you an example of how effective we were in taking this kind of information, getting people energized, and running conservatives as conservatives. In 2005 in Douglas County, 62,000 people voted. 62,000 people voted, and 31,000 of them didn't vote in our school board elections. They're all undervotes. 62,000 people voted on C&D, and half of them didn't mark anything on the school board ballot. This year we had 47,000 people vote, and they were all voting on the school board. So we had about a 70% increase over 2005 and a marked increase. In 2005 it was 26,000 people. So that was a steamroller, and we had a great time with that. A couple of observations about the odd year elections. There's no August primary in the there's no August primary in the odd year elections. So there's a difference between the even year cycle and the odd year cycle. In the odd year cycle, anybody who meets the residency qualifications, they've lived in the district, you know, for school board, I think it was 30 days or 60 days. Then you go to the grocery store and, ma'am, would you please sign my petition to get, I don't want to be on the school board, would you please sign my petition? And then I think for school board in Douglas County it was like 50 signatures. So it's very low standard. But there's no August primary.